Welcome to my review of inFAMOUS Festival of Blood. This is a DLC, and this is only available on the PS3. So yeah, currently, as of 2021, this was only a $5 DLC on the PlayStation Network. So I can already highly recommend it for that price. Now, I don't know what it originally went for. It may have been like, 15 or 20 bucks originally. I'm not sure. But as of now, it's only $5, so I would recommend, if you still have a PlayStation 3 console, I highly recommend downloading this. I don't believe you need the original game to play this expansion. So I think you can just download it for $5 and just play it as you see it. So I can already highly recommend it before you even finish watching this video. I'd give it a high recommendation. Very cool DLC. You can see some of the action here, riding these rails, and basically this version, it plays just like inFAMOUS 1 and 2, which are great games for the PS3, some of the better action games, open world, superhero type of games, if you want to call it that. It's really a villain, I guess, story-wise, but as you know, I don't give a shit about story, but the way it plays, you have superpowers in an open world pretty much, and you can pull a lot of bullshit, so very cool. And this expands on that whole formula. So, with this, you're fighting vampires and defeating, some monsters and things like that. Now, there's really only maybe one type of actual monster that you fight, but it's a new enemy type that wasn't in the original game. And you fight, regular vampires along with these monsters sometimes, and you have, a final boss fight, which is actually a pretty cool final boss fight. But aside from that, sometimes you use your detective powers, like the Arkham Asylum games made popular, where you'll go into detective mode and you can see these trails of these demons that you'll follow, or these enemies that you'll follow. And that's part of some of the campaign missions. There's really only a few missions, as even with deaths, it only took me around 2 hours to complete. And I have the full playthrough posted up. I didn't do a tutorial on this one, but I will post a link to my playthrough, my unedited playthrough. So yeah, you're probably only going to, be playing this for a few hours, maybe 2 hours to just beat it. So it's not very lengthy, but, like I said, it's only $5 as of now. And, I thought it was well worth it for the amount of enjoyment I got out of it. I really enjoyed the 2 hours with it. But mainly you're going to be completing, missions as you would in a GTA-style game, as is common with open-world games these days. You have missions that you complete. And you're basically going to be killing vampires, but the cool thing about it is that you get completely unique abilities that you didn't get in inFAMOUS 1 or 2. So you're going to have completely, new abilities that aren't in the core games. And one of them is turning into a swarm of bats and flying over buildings really fast, or you can also turn into a swarm of bats and kind of aim at the vampire you want to take out as you're flying as that group of bats, and then when you connect with them, you do a super powerful move. You fight these big monsters every once in a while, these firstborn enemies, and it's just a lot of fun with your mix of, your regular shots and your new abilities, like you have these rocket type of abilities that you fire out with the electricity. Now, some of the abilities are pretty similar to what you had in the core game, but, a lot of them, or I should say a few of them, there's not a ton of abilities. It's a very short game, but but some of the abilities, they're completely new, and it really changes the way the game plays. And, it makes the traversal exciting when you can turn into a swarm of bats and rush over to an area super fast. Now, in order to power up that bat swarm ability, you have to suck blood of regular civilians by hitting R1. So you want to find them and suck blood occasionally to get that power up, so you can have it charged enough to be able to chase some of these enemies. Because sometimes you need the bat swarm ability to be charged, and you have to charge it regularly for some of the chase sequences, which can be a little challenging because you have to catch up to the target in a certain amount of time or they get away. You can't lose track of them. So if you're familiar with these games, you're familiar with all the mobility, and this is going to be more for people who've already played the core games on this review. But you have your usual building climbing that you can do, and your usual mobility that's in the core game. It's all there. The only difference is they added more shit. So, you have more abilities. You have different things that you wouldn't be doing in the main game. You can also break these urns open every once in a while that give you powers up your blood meter and makes it longer. So you can you can basically you can use your blood abilities for longer, which I believe is mainly tied into your bat abilities. But you also have your usual electricity abilities too that are tied to how much electricity you have, and you get electricity by extracting it from lamps and other electric devices. Things like that. This is the bat ability you saw here. You can move very fast. You also use this ionic storm like maybe once in the entire game. But that's how you knock the final boss down into the bottom of the underground where you fight her for the final time. And it's a cool boss fight. I don't show it here because, since this is a newer game, it's not really a completely modern game, but I didn't want to show the final boss fight for spoiler reasons. In most of my reviews I do show the final boss fights in full, but they're usually very old games. So yeah, this is definitely a DLC I would highly recommend, and for $5, it's a great deal at that price. It'll probably last you about 2 hours if you're familiar with these games, maybe a little longer, but it's great while it lasts. So yeah, I would give this a 7.5 out of 10. It's quite good. It's enjoyable. It's nice pacing, and it was exciting to play through. I enjoyed the change in setting as well. Let me know if you have any questions, and thanks for watching.